All right, everybody. So we're going to have a bit of a notes day because we've been pretty busy on some other stuff lately. For today, though, this is kind of the summarization of the reading that you guys have posted on Edmodo, which I think I did last week. And I want to go over some of this because it's been a few days and some of these things are kind of important to what we're doing. As far as the activities that we're talking about, we're still talking about the products that we offer and the merchandise assortment that we have. So the order that we put in yesterday is in. I'm still working on a couple of things as far as the art, but we should be pretty well stocked up on a lot of the new products. Now, as far as planning our merchandise, it also helps us to determine what we need to buy and reorder because we are getting a little bit thin with the stuff that we had from homecoming. And so that's why we're looking at more things getting ready for winter. As far as product service management, though, and this is the side of things we're on. Ashton, we're up here. Product service management refers to the decisions made by a business about what to sell and how to position those products and services in the marketplace. So it's more about just what we want to sell. It's how do we want those things to look? And that's why our evolution within the store has gone from just t-shirts and sweatshirts to kind of nicer type things, nicer pullovers and hoodies and women's clothes. So we've kind of evolved, and that's part of our product service management because we're trying to offer clothing that people can't necessarily get anywhere else. It's really easy to find t-shirts and sweatshirts, but a lot of the other stuff gets to be a little bit more difficult when it comes to jackets and nice hats and things like that. So we need to carry the right products. Otherwise, they're just not going to sell and they're not going to generate revenue. And that's where we kind of talked about with our product team of what's going to sell. What do we need to kind of replenish the supply with? The hockey hoodies are going to be kind of a nice one. I had somebody that came in yesterday and asked about getting the Badger sweatshirts, the Badger brand sweatshirts. They're black and gray. I think we need to order more of those because those are pretty much sold out. The pennant sweatshirts have done real well for us. So that's kind of the whole point, though, of taking a look at the products that we sell and how do we get things that are going to continue to sell. So the planning part refers to the identifying of product features and methods that are going to contribute to product sales. And while that might seem somewhat vague, the concept of product planning is actually well illustrated through the product mix. This is what I brought up before with you guys, where it starts to get a little bit confusing. So the product mix is a collection of different products that we sell. So the product mix is kind of everything that we have in the store. We sell drinkware, I suppose, for lack of a better phrase, but also clothing. And within that clothing, we have shirts, sweatshirts, long sleeve shirts, kids' clothes, hats, scarves, mittens. But we also have gum. We also have, spirit wear and beads and face paint and stuff like that. All of those things are kind of all mixed together in what we've chosen to add. We can sprinkle in a couple more things, but for the most part, that mix is kind of the recipe that we've chosen to go with. Now, one of the big things that's missing from this that other school stores might have, anybody want to guess what it is? Food. There are other school stores in different high schools that sell food. So their job when they go in the morning, there might be somebody who's working on the retail side, but there also might be somebody else that's manning the candy bars, the slushy machines, and back in probably 2 decades ago, it was being able to sell soda. So soda, cookies, some schools make their cookies in the morning. So if you guys can imagine your shift, you'd have to show up at 7:15, make a batch of cookies, and then be ready to sell them and slushies and all sorts of stuff. I know that Sun Prairie has like a giant slushy machine, and they have to clean that out, and that's part of their working job. We don't have to worry about that. That is not part of our product mix. The gum that we have is about as far as we're going to go with that, but it never hurts to also look at what we're offering within that product mix to see if there's more things that people want to buy. So different product lines they comprise of our product mix. So a product line is a group of related products produced by a manufacturer or sold by a business. So if we sell beverages, bottled water, soda, coffee drinks would represent a different product line. For us, when it comes to apparel, this is where we have our different product lines. So we have something like a women's line, sweatshirt line, t-shirt line. Within our spirit wear, it might be, or spirit stuff, it might be different kinds of beads. Those are kind of the different ways to look at it. So if a mix is everything, the lines are specific categories of things that we sell. Sweatshirts has always been kind of one of our big ones. Same thing with kind of heavier long sleeve things. So maybe not so much a sweatshirt, but like a full zip or a 3/4 zip or things like that. So those would be different lines that we have. Now the width is the number of product lines that we have within a product mix. So again, the mix is kind of the whole ball of things, and then each line is kind of like our sweatshirts line, our t-shirts line. Now the width is the number of lines that we might have within our product mix. Now this is where we are a little bit different from some other school stores, because I think we have a lot more product width than a lot of other schools might. And so when we have clothing, we don't have like just t-shirts or sweatshirts. That's where we've kind of branched out, and we have a lot of different individual things. I'd like to start looking at shorts, especially when it comes around to springtime, of having different kinds of shorts available for people, but also having, better hats, different pieces of headwear. There's some other things that we can do. So we have a lot of product width. So within that mix, there's a lot of different things that we offer that are in there. Now, the product depth is how much difference you have in each of your lines. So sweatshirts, do we have a lot of depth in sweatshirts? Yes and no. I mean, we have the pennant ones, we have the Badger ones, we still have the old screen printed ones, we're getting the hockey hoodies. So that's 4 different types of sweatshirts that we already offer within that particular one. It really kind of depends on whatever the product is. For our drinkware, we're getting a little bit deeper now. We have the confetti glasses that we ordered. We also have the clear water bottles. We have coffee cups. So as far as beverage holders and drinkware, we do have 3 things in our product depth. So we're getting a little bit better. Not every product is going to be all that deep, but generally you want to be a little bit deeper in the categories that make you a little bit more successful. Now this is going to be kind of sort of the end of the notes today, but we're talking about the product life cycle, and this can kind of help with your understanding of product planning. Every single product ever made goes through this, and it looks the same pretty much for every single one of them, but the only thing that really varies is time. So what did the iPhone start with? They didn't start with like iPhone 1. What did they start with? It wasn't like it was just iPhone. Didn't they skip or something like that? All right, well, let's just say the original iPhone. That is a product that came out and started right here. So as they grew and they introduced it, a lot of people didn't have it. So as time went on, though, it grew. People found out about it, and those sales grew. Seems to make sense. But at some point, that iPhone stopped selling. People didn't really want that original iPhone anymore. What made it level off? Absolutely. The iPhone 2 came along. And that's why all of a sudden people didn't really want it anymore. And then it just starts to decline, and sales go into decline, so people don't really want it. Now, iPhones are a fantastic example for every one of these, because every generation of iPhone has gone through exactly the same thing. So right now, what is it, the 10? X, whatever. So that's kind of the big one, and it's down here still in the introduction phase. How many of you guys have that 10S? Okay, so like one person in the school has that one. So it's still down in their introduction phase. They're still rolling that out to people. If you look at something like the iPhone 8, how many of you guys have an 8? Okay, a couple more people. The iPhone 8 is probably still in its growth phase. I plan on getting one at some point, but I'm still on my 6. How many of you guys have a 6 or lower? So As we're coming up, though, right now, the iPhone 6 is probably starting to